Hi, everybody. Stephanie Kraft here. I'm here to give you my 3-month keto update. I had made one video at the beginning of my keto journey, and it is called The Beginning of My Keto Journey. And I said that I would give an update in about a month. Well, it's been 2 months. So today is the 4th of July, 2019, and I started on April 4th. So it's exactly 3 months into my keto journey. And keto is the ketogenic diet. It's high fat, so about 75 to 80% fat, moderate protein, so about 15%, and 5% carbs. So it's a low carb diet. And the reason it's healthy is because our bodies thrive on fat and function very well using fat as its source of fuel. And we have been eating too many carbs, all of humanity pretty much, for several decades now, or the past 100 years. And so this is really a way to achieve optimal health, and that's why I'm doing it. And I don't remember what I said in the first video, if I told my story about how it started, but basically when I woke up on April 4th, I just picked up my phone and I was scrolling through Facebook, and I saw my friend say that she was starting the keto diet again. She had done it before and was coming back to it. And for some reason, when I read that, something inside of me just clicked and said, I'm starting it right now. And I had no forethought. I didn't know I was ever going to do it. I wasn't thinking about it. It was like my soul just said, do it now. And I was totally on board. I was like, I'm doing this. It just clicked. So I woke up that morning, got out of bed, and from that point, from that moment, still till today, I've been on the ketogenic diet. And I don't plan on stopping. I always listen to my body. This, for me, is a way of life. It's not a diet. It's a way of eating. And it works very well for me. I'm so happy. I think it's like the best thing I've ever found. I mean, you know what I mean. I love it so much. So I took some notes just to make sure that I covered all the different topics that are involved. So the first one is about mood. When you're eating on the keto way, your body becomes fat adapted or keto adapted. This means that your body is burning fat as fuel instead of glucose. So when you're not eating sugars, carbs, that's not really the fuel that your body is running on anymore, and it starts to run on fat. It can take a while to shift over to fat burning. I mean, being in ketosis means that you are burning ketones for fuel instead of glucose, and it can take like 3 days to get into ketosis, but to fully shift your body to utilizing fat as its primary source of fuel, this can take longer, and it's different for everyone, and it depends on what you're healing within your body. I realized that I have been probably healing insulin resistance. Insulin resistance affects probably the majority of people in the United States. If you're not really familiar with what insulin resistance is, I would suggest that you do some research, watch some videos about it, and you will find that insulin is the cause of most health problems, so elevated insulin. So what happens is that if we're eating carbohydrates, it triggers the release of insulin. Insulin comes in to bring blood sugar down. Well, if we keep on eating sugars and carbs and our body keeps producing insulin, it gets, it's like it's not hearing the signal anymore. So the body becomes resistant to insulin. So insulin's not really working very well anymore. And the goal on the ketogenic diet is to become insulin sensitive, so that your body is responsive to insulin, and insulin doesn't have to spike so high or so much or for prolonged periods of time, because that does cause a lot of health problems and weight gain. Insulin resistance causes weight gain and type 2 diabetes and eating carbohydrates causes type 2 diabetes. And something that I was like in denial about was that I could possibly be pre-diabetic. I have no idea if I was pre-diabetic, if I had diabetes, type 2 diabetes, or even if I was insulin resistant. No, I didn't have any testing done. But the thing is that once you start reading about it, studying it, and looking at your symptoms and your diet, you can take some guesses. I mean, that's just me. I haven't been to a doctor in like 15 years because I haven't needed to go to a doctor. I have been to a chiropractor, acupuncturist, and homeopathic doctor, but I haven't been in any other kind of doctor's office for 15 years because it's just not really my style and I haven't needed it. I haven't been sick or had any need to do that. Okay, so the reason I was bringing up healing insulin resistance and talking about prediabetes and diabetes is because they're more prevalent than what the numbers show. I don't know, I didn't look up the statistics, but millions of Americans have type 2 diabetes. And even I've been watching videos that have said that way more Americans have it than what the numbers show. People don't know it. And like 19 years ago, I went to this psychic and he said to me, you could be pre-diabetic or become pre-diabetic. Well, that scared me so much. And I kind of blocked it out. Like I was worried about it for a while, worried meaning, but I didn't really change anything. I got really sick with adrenal fatigue and all these things, which actually I realized I probably was insulin resistant 20 years ago. All of this to say that I had a couple of symptoms that, correlate to some of these things. So doing the ketogenic diet is to heal your body in all ways. And that's why I'm doing it. And for weight loss, anti-aging, brain health, mood. So let me get into some of these benefits that I've noticed. The first note here I have is about my mood. Since doing the ketogenic diet, I am always happy. I'm always upbeat. I'm always in a good mood. I don't have any kinds of, I didn't really have like ups and downs much, but there is a significant improvement actually in my mood where I'm happy all the time. I feel good all the time. I'm never sad. I don't cry. And so I will say that this is an improvement in my mood. And energy wise, this is a huge improvement. I have so much more energy. It's sustained throughout the day. I am way more productive. I'm efficient. Like I'm motivated. I'm getting so much more done in my life. That this is such a huge change. I'm not lethargic. Like if ever I've needed to take a nap at all, it's been like I woke up in the middle of the night. I'll talk about sleep later on too. I didn't write that in my notes, so hopefully I'll remember to mention sleep. My sleep is good, so I don't really have much to say about that. But if I did wake up in the middle of the night once or twice and I might have needed a nap, I think that's like normal life. It's not that I'm like fatigued. I haven't been fatigued. It's been phenomenal energetically for me, mood-wise too. Just like so good. I really feel excellent. Like I'm never planning on eating, going back to the old way of eating where you're just not really paying attention and you're just eating carbs and proteins and fats and you're not really limiting the carbs. I think that I'll always do this because what I notice now about myself is that before the ketogenic diet, if I would have a meal, and it depends what the meal was, but I would sometimes like have to go to sleep after a meal. I would get tired. And now I'm realizing that never happens anymore unless I've eaten something that, like maybe once it's happened. And I think it was because I ate something that I didn't really know would affect me, and it did. But but you can really feel what foods affect you when you're on the ketogenic diet, because it's a really, in my case, a very clean diet. And I do healthy keto, clean keto. So there's something called dirty keto, which is like eating foods that might not be that healthy, but still fall under the ketogenic, fats, the macros, like the fats, the carbs, and the proteins, but things like artificial sweeteners or diet soda, like I never have had that in my life. I don't drink stuff like that. But so there's dirty keto is like falling within the keto diet, but not such clean food. I eat clean food. I get my food from a farm, and I, whatever I can buy from the farm, whether it's the animal, proteins, fats, like, well, actually I don't like the butter, the taste of the raw butter I eat Kerrygold butter, but anyway, I get a lot of the food from the farm, and what I don't get there, I get clean from the grocery store. Like, we'll try to get organic, grass-fed, pasture-raised, all that kind of stuff, non-GMOs, low chemicals, no preservatives. I mean, you can't even have stuff like that on keto because it is a clean diet. So about my periods, I'm going to be 48 this month in July. And so I'm 47 now. And for the past couple of years, I would say it's probably getting close to like the pre-menopausal time, or it is premenopausal. I don't know. I don't get my hormones tested, but basically, my whole life, I started my period at age 12, and for the rest of my life, it was like clockwork every 28 days. So it was very regular. But then a couple of years ago, I started to get my period like every 24 days or every 25 days. And it was getting a little bit harder. Like, I would be really fatigued during it, or for like a day. My periods are very short, like 2 or 3 days. So luckily, like, any suffering time is really short. But now, so the past couple years, it was like every 24, every 25 days. So it's like a much shorter cycle. And so when I started the ketogenic diet, it shifted my hormones immediately. So it was like I started it, and then like 2 weeks later, I got my period, and it was like came on day like 28. So it was already shifted 4 days. That's a lot in a short period of time, 2 weeks of eating this way. And then the next one came on day 30. So it shifted from like 24, 25 days all the way to day 30. And then the third month, it came on day 33. So that cycle was lengthened longer than I've ever experienced in my life. So very obviously, my hormones were affected by being on keto and were adjusting. And well, the other thing is that when you're losing fat, estrogen is stored in your fat cells than other hormones are. So when your fat cells are shrinking and you're losing that fat, you lose it through liquid. You're actually releasing those hormones. So it could have been that what was happening to me over the past 3 months was just my body was shedding, excess hormones, and it was changing my cycles. But this last one, I actually got it on day number 26. So it seems to have regulated again. We'll see. I mean, it's only been 3 months that I started this. And so those are the periods. But basically, I've had way more energy. I used to get really fatigued during it. These last couple of cycles have been so easy and fine, and I can go about my business and not have to rest. So that's really amazing. And I can't say that this is like a long-term or permanent effect of being on keto. For me, I only know the past couple of months have been so much better. And just, I'm like 2 or 3 months of, like the past 3 cycles, I think, have been like, able to like do my life normally and actively and not need to rest, and just not had any pain, not had anything. Whereas before, I would like have to be in bed a lot and resting and non-functioning. Sometimes it was bad some months, and it was pretty bad some months. So it seems to be much, much better, like significantly better. I have way more energy. I talked about that. I'll talk about my weight. So initially, so After 2 months, I had lost 15 pounds, and I only lost 1 pound in this past month. So now I'm down 16 pounds. Um, I'm significantly like reduced in size. So, weight is one thing, but they say that when you're doing the ketogenic diet, you're actually healing your body. So you're rebuilding your bones, your ligaments, your cartilage, whatever. Because if you're not eating a healthy diet, my diet was very healthy, I will say. But if you have sensitivity to carbs or sugars and you eat any, it's going to be destructive in your body. And I do have a sensitivity to those things. And so I feel like I'm in healing mode. And so a lot of times people say like, you should measure your waist, or you should take measurements on your body to see how much you're reducing, because on the ketogenic diet, you may not lose pounds, but you will reduce your clothing size, several sizes. And I definitely have been getting smaller. I'm still wearing the same clothes because I told myself I'm not buying new clothes until I'm hitting like my goal weight. I want to lose 20 more pounds. And I'm not really fixated on the number, but it's just an idea that I would like to see, being 20 pounds less than I am now. But again, I'm still getting smaller and noticeably. So my clothes are bigger and I have to wear a belt and close the belt, tighter and tighter. So this is all good. I'm not really focusing on that because the thing is like, doing the ketogenic diet, you're healing. And so I know that healing insulin resistance can take time. One of the things that I was noticing was that people who do the ketogenic diet do intermittent fasting a lot. So that's eating in a shorter window of time every day. So let's say you're eating from like 11 to 7. That's an 8-hour window of time. And you're fasting from 7 p.m. all the way till 11 a.m. the next day. So you're fasting for 16 hours and you're eating for 8. Well, I did start out doing that for in the beginning. I don't remember if it was like a month or 6 weeks, but I stopped. I don't remember what made me stop, but I think it was just because I was so hungry in the morning. And they say that once you become keto adapted, you're not going to be hungry. Well, I was waking up starving every single day, feeling like I really needed breakfast. So I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to do intermittent fasting until my body tells me it's okay for me. Because when you're doing that, it can cause a stress. It causes the fight or flight response and raises your cortisol. And cortisol prevents you from losing weight, causes an insulin spike. Insulin prevents you from losing weight. So I didn't really want to get into being under a stress. I didn't want to add stress to my body. Also, your hair falls out, especially for women. I don't know if it happens for men, but I've heard a lot of women, and my hair was falling out. So, and it still is falling out a little bit. I'm not worried about it because when you lose a significant amount of weight quickly, your hair falls out. And it slows down. It'll stop falling out. And I know that it will. And it's happened to me before in other times in stressful situations. So I've had it happen before. My hair is not falling out to a significant degree, but it is noticeably a little bit more. So anyway, I was like, you know what, let me not stress my body out so much. I'm starving in the morning. I must not have healed my insulin resistance yet or be fat adapted completely. So I just started eating breakfast every day, and that would make me feel so much better. And then it's only been within the past week where I'm waking up and I'm not hungry anymore in the morning. So this tells me that I really am fully keto adapted. And I forgot to get my Keto Mojo. It's upstairs. I wanted to show you the Keto Mojo. You can order it online, and it's the blood. It tests your blood. So you do the finger prick. It tests your blood ketones and your glucose. And you can get your glucose and ketone ratio. And it shows you how deep into ketosis you are. It's really excellent. I've been testing my blood I know I'm in ketosis. I know I've been in ketosis. I don't test it every day, but I test it periodically. And so even though I've been in ketosis this whole time, I was waking up hungry, so I don't feel like my body was fully healed, where with the blood sugar stabilization, with being keto adapted, with healing the insulin resistance, until this past week, finally, almost 3 months, today's 3 months into it. So almost 3 months into it, I started to wake up not hungry, and I could fast so much more easily. So that's been so much better for me. So I will talk about fasting. So fasting is a huge part of keto. People who do it tend to do a variety of fasting. One of them I mentioned is intermittent fasting, and this is where you shorten the window of eating per day. The reason that you would do this is to be in a higher fat burning mode, because when you eat, every time you eat, you're spiking insulin. And when you're in a fasting state, you're going to be burning more fat. You're going to be creating more anti-aging factors in your body. You're going to have autophagy, which is self-eating. It's basically where your body will consume the older cells or proteins to clean up the body. And it is beneficial for anti-aging and reducing inflammation and other benefits in the body. So, but if you're looking for fasting for autophagy, you really do have to go past 24 hours. So it's a process to get there. I mean, some people can do it. It's harder for me. The longest fast for me so far has been 27 hours. And then I did a 22-hour fast another day. And then these were not consecutive days. And I'll talk a little bit about my other fasting, but basically, people who do intermittent fasting, they might do 20 hours of fasting and have a 4-hour window of eating time every day. The reason that they're closing up their eating window is so that they're burning more fat throughout the day. And they're not hungry during the fasting time. If you're hungry, eat. So wait until you're not hungry and you'll get better at the fasting. And I'll talk about, I went on vacation. So I went to the beach and I decided I'm just going to have a good time and not like worry about food. I'm just going to eat whatever I want. And for 4 days, I ate carbs. I felt really sick actually, like the last day. I did really well. Some of my meals were keto and a lot of my meals were keto. So it wasn't like I was eating a lot of carbs, but I was eating more carbs because I was eating some, whereas I hadn't been. But and I even had some candy, some chocolate. So that was different. That was actual sugar that I ate like a couple times. But like I didn't have ice cream and I didn't have pizza. Like I didn't do horribly, but I also was very relaxed about it and ate whatever I really kind of wanted within reason. And so when I got back from the beach, I weighed myself and I had gained 5 pounds, that's kind of a lot. But I think it's a lot of water weight because it's inflammation and, carbs. When you eat carbs, you're like getting inflamed and attracting water, holding onto water. So anyway, when I got back, I did 1 day of OMAD. OMAD is 1 meal a day. So I fasted 20 hours basically. And the first day, so I did 1 meal that day. The next day I did the same thing. I fasted the second day and I had 1 meal that day. And I lost the 5 pounds in 2 days, doing 1 meal a day, 2 days in a row, lost the 5 pounds. I was in ketosis the whole time, even though I had carbs. Somehow my body remained in ketosis because when I was at the beach, I tested it. And when I got home, I tested it. And I was always in a mild state of ketosis, which is kind of interesting because I was cheating, right? I was having carbs. Here's the thing. When you are in ketosis or fat adapted, you become metabolically sensitive and flexible. So your goal is you want to be metabolically flexible. And I am, because I was cheating, having carbs, testing my ketones, I was still in ketosis. So my body is able to recover and get back into ketosis very quickly. Or maybe I didn't even kick out of ketosis, which is kind of amazing. So I was having, I had French fries. My son had some, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to have 10. And I was like eating them. And he's like, Mom, you've had 10, more than 10. I'm like, I know, forget about all that. I'm just going to eat them. But, so that was kind of fun, but my body recovered. And so, you want to be able to be so well into becoming fat adapted that if you do have a meal with carbs, you kick yourself back into ketosis so quickly. And that is my case. So about my vacation, I got home, I had one meal a day, one meal a day, the second day, lost the 5 pounds. The third day I woke up and I had lost 2 more pounds. So vacation didn't really mess me up at all. And although my weight has been pretty stable, for the past month, because I'm still in healing mode, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. And I'm not really, I want to lose weight. Like when I lost that 1 pound after 1 month of being at the same, I was fluctuating like within a couple pounds. I was happy. I was like, oh my gosh, I finally went down, below that 15-pound loss. I went down to 16 pounds lost. And I was like, oh yeah, finally things are moving. So that's good. And then last night I had a dinner party at my house and I cheated a little bit. So, I did. So today I actually fasted longer. And I had a meal, but I'm not very hungry and I get full very fast. I normally get full very fast. I'm not a really huge eater in general, but, I find that I can't even eat that much food. Okay. So another thing is pain and inflammation. I talked about this in my first video. I, have had some hip pain, sacroiliac pain, and then in the, on the right side, and then my sacrum itself, the sacral area has been in pain. And I mentioned that the pain went away, but it's not, I don't know why it was really improved in the beginning. And then now I still have some pain. I think maybe I'm sensitive to certain foods, perhaps dairy. I haven't eliminated it completely, so I should probably test, because a lot of people get inflamed from dairy and it causes pain in the body. So I should probably do an experiment. I don't know when I'm going to do that because I like cheese. Because I had a dinner party, I bought all this, different cheeses, and I still have some in the refrigerator. But maybe one day I will do like a week or 2 without dairy and just see how my body does. I'm not sure yet, but I don't know if I'll give up butter. I just have a little bit of the Kerrygold in a drink. Like I whip it up in the Vitamix. And I love that so much. But anyway, I still have a little bit of that. It's significantly better overall, but that pain in the sacrum and the sacroiliac joint is like 90% better. But I'm still healing. My body is still healing. I think that's everything. What was I going to say? Did I forget anything? I just feel so much better. I'm so happy that I'm doing this. It's a way of life, like I said. If you have any questions, okay, so I have a keto page on Facebook. It's called Stephanie K's Keto Page. I'll put a link in the description. I am offering keto coaching. So that's on my website, stephaniekraft.com. And I will probably put a offer like a Zoom video conference, open that up to people so people can come on and ask questions and learn more. It's like as an intro to it, or have groups of people who are doing keto and want some guidance and follow up and want to ask questions along the way. On my keto page on Facebook, go ahead and check that out, because if you're interested in doing this diet, everything is on that page. There's a pinned post at the top that says, welcome, start here. And it has all the video channels, the YouTube channels that are good, that I like. I'm sure there are more out there that I just haven't discovered. But if you go on there and you just watch as many videos as you can to educate yourself, you don't really need me, right? You don't need to pay somebody to do this unless you want that. Some people want a little extra support, or they don't have time to watch hours and hours of videos or read articles, and they just want somebody to like give it to them. What do I do? What do I eat? Help me. And then they have questions and they want me to answer. Well, I've done the research. I actually watched a keto docu-series that was 20 hours long. So I watched 20 hours of that one. I watched another one that was like 9 hours. It was women, keto for women. And I watched up hours of these of YouTube videos a day. Not always hours, but maybe like 15 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. I love the topic. So when I'm driving, I'll put on a video. When I'm in the kitchen, I listen to the videos. So in the morning when I'm getting ready, I put on the videos so that I can listen and just get as much information as I can. And that's why I'm here for you if you do have questions. I do know a lot about the topic. I think that's everything I wanted to mention. I don't know when I'll do another keto update, but I feel great. I'm going to keep going. Like I said, I had a dinner party last night and I cheated a little bit. And when I woke up, I didn't feel so great. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do a fasting day. I didn't really know how long I would fast, but I started eating at 2:30. So I only fasted that long, but I had salad and a piece of chicken and I was full. So I'm just sharing this to say that like, if you do end up cheating or messing up, I only cheated a little bit because I had some extra berries and, minor healthy things. But if you do, it's really easy to get yourself back on track and you can live your life this way. It doesn't have to be hard. It can be so easy and it feels great to feel great. So that's why I do it. I'm so happy I found it. Okay, everybody, I will see you in another video soon. Have a great day. Happy 4th of July.